Hello to all of my Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising friends out there. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you are as excited as I am about seeing what's to come in August. We've got a lot going on and a lot to get through today. This will probably take us about 30 minutes. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's sit down and hang out for a bit. So, one of the things I always recommend you do as you're watching a video with me is to print your natal chart, have it handy. If you don't know how to cast your natal chart, I will add that video. I've got a free video on how to cast your natal chart using free software. So feel free to pause this video, come back to it once you have your natal chart, because all of these placements I'm going to be talking about today might be different if you have a natal planet that is connected or transiting around any of these today. So let me know in the comments if you do have anything different in any of these houses that I will talk about. So I'm not a fortune teller, but I am an astrology coach. So I can't predict what's going to happen for everyone. This is a collective astrology. So I'm talking today about all of the transiting planets that will be moving through our houses through the month of August. You can choose to use this energy. You can work with this energy. I like to know what's coming because sometimes we have hard transits and sometimes we have fun transits. And I want to be able to inform you on how to work with the energy, right? I want you to be prepared if tough things are coming. And like I said, not everyone is going to be affected the same by these transits. So certainly check your natal chart. But the energy in the whole collective, the whole world, will be similar. So feel free to screenshot what I've got here on my screen. These are all of the big events that are happening in the month of August, and I will talk about each of them as we move through your chart. We've got some big events like a new moon and a solar eclipse. We've got the nodes entering a new sign that hasn't happened since 2008 and 2009. And we're ending the month of August with a lunar eclipse and a full moon. And it's very closely tied to the Mercury cazimi. So we will be talking about all of that today. So go ahead, grab your chart, and we will get down to it. All right, so here is the chart of what the world looks like on August 1st. So if you are an Aquarius rising, your natal chart should look very similar to this because your ascendant is in the sign of Aquarius in the first house. If you're listening for your sun sign today, that's what most people know of, and it is correlated to your birth date and where the sun was on the day you were born. That is going to be connected to your ego, right? Your rising sign is going to be the character you play. Your moon sign is going to be your inner mood, things that you might think and feel, but the world does not necessarily see. All right. So over the age of 40, your sun sign can be more relevant, more connected to your soul. I like to listen to my rising sign and my sun sign, and I do find relevance with both of those. So let me know what renovates most for you. Before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about my Aquarius friends. Aquarius is an air sign ruled by Saturn. In modern astrology, Uranus is also considered to be a ruler of Aquarius. I think of Aquarius people as being innovative, outside of the box thinkers. Now, Robert Hand, a well-known astrologer, says that Aquarius people enjoy social interactions, being part of a group. They value friendships, but sometimes they need to be the more dominant people in a friendship circle. Many follow societal norms, and they tend to be more at home with friendship than with love. So let me know, Aquarius, is that pretty accurate or am I way off? I have an aunt that is an Aquarius, but I'm not sure that resonates with her. I almost wonder if she doesn't know her birth time. So that might not be accurate for her. Let me know what you think. So our first big transit here happens on August 7th. On August 7th, we have Venus entering Libra. This is in your ninth house. Ninth house has to do with wisdom, college, goals, direction, religion, meaning, foreign law, legal matters. This is where I say, when I'm talking about the astrology, for you, it might be legal matters, but maybe for my aunt that's an Aquarius, maybe it has to do with going to the university. All right. So it is very subjective, and use it for what's going on in your life at the time, what makes the most sense for you. So with Venus here, Venus is very much at home in the sign of Libra because Venus rules Libra. So this is just going to be a very benefic transit for you, very positive. Like I said, it could have to do with college, foreign travel, legal matters. It's just going to be positive, beautiful, and a joyous time. All right, all positive things are coming from the ninth house. I've got nothing bad to say about the ninth house happening during this transit. Now, on the ninth, Mercury enters Leo. And this happens in your seventh house of partnerships and marriages. I'm going to be talking a lot about the seventh house today. Aquarius people, you have a lot happening in relationships for the month of August. So with Mercury here, Mercury brings good communication. You also have Jupiter here. So Jupiter may bring you more opportunities for business partners, for dating. Get yourself out there, be open to those opportunities because the sun is going to really highlight this house for you. The sun rules the sign of Leo, and you have Jupiter here. And now we have Mercury. Okay, they're all working very closely. Again, all benefic planets. I see only positive things happening in this house for you. That being said, it's not all positive. On the 11th, we have Mars moving into the sign of Cancer. This is the sixth house. Sixth house is your work, your service, your employment, your pets, your health and diet, all of those things. Now, Mars is not happy in the house of Cancer because they're opposites. They're like yin and yang. Mars is our warrior. Mars likes to get things done. Mars brings a really hard, fast energy. Cancer is very much the opposite. Cancer is a nurturer. Cancer wants to be compassionate. Cancer wants to listen to everyone. So there may be some friction in the workplace, or you might tend to be annoyed or irritated by people you work with or your pets. Really what you do for work. All right. So keep that in mind. That transit will be there through September 27th or 28th. So if you're just feeling more irritated with people, know that that will pass. It's just Mars going through your sign of Cancer, right? I tell my family that stuff all of the time. That's why I had to start this channel, because I just wanted to share this information, get it out there. But, I'll be at work and people are being annoying and I'll say, oh, it's Mars is traveling through Cancer. But see, now you will understand what I'm talking about. All right, on the 12th, we're back to good stuff here. On the 12th, we have a new moon in Leo with a solar eclipse. This will be unfolding over the next 6 months. Again, this is in the house of Leo. So we're talking about relationships again. Your relationships are taking the center stage. This could be marriages. It could be business partners or even rivals. It could be meeting someone new that will be significant in your life. This could also mean taking an existing relationship to the next level or ending a partnership, signing an important contract. Leo is asking you, how does your heart want to connect? Now, Leo here, especially with the sun, is going to really bring you confidence, loyalty, and creativity. Remember, a new moon is planting a seed. This is a good time to manifest anything around the area of relationships. If you are single and looking for love, You can certainly manifest this. I would collect some moon water under this new moon. Means take a mason jar of water, put it out under this new moon, write on a new little piece of paper, put it underneath the water. On that piece of paper, you're going to say, bring me my soulmate. All right. If that's what you're looking for, you can certainly manifest this right now. Or maybe you're in a relationship with someone and you want to take it to the next level. You can certainly do that right now. Okay. Or you've been married for 25 years. Maybe you want to renew your vows. It's a good time for anything new with relationships. I don't see anything breaking up right now because, as I said, we've got a lot of positive things happening here. And an interesting piece here, we've got Uranus in the fifth house here of romance. So it's looking really good for romance, for flirting, because you have a sextile here from Uranus to Mercury. So I don't know if I could make this transit any better for you single Aquarius people. It's there. If you want it, it is there. You've got to go out and get it. So Leo is just going to remind you, Aquarius people, if you're starting a new relationship, you need generosity, you need affection, and you need to be engaged in the other person. So keep those things in mind if you are going out on these new dates. As I said, plant a new seed and manifest it. It's not going to happen overnight. It will unfold over the next 6 months. Oops, I went too far. All right, on the 15th, we have a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction. This is again happening in Leo. So conversations here become especially important. Great time for meeting someone new through networking or travel. Good time to negotiate an agreement or bring new opportunities. You could gain clarity about your current relationship right now, or a good time to define expectations of your relationship. So the eclipse here that happened, it's activating your relationship access. So significant developments in love, contracts, close alliances will unfold over the next few months. On the 19th is the next significant event. And this is with the nodes moving into the new signs. All right, I'm going to grab my pencil so I can highlight this. So you have the North Node dipping into Aquarius. This is your first house, and you have Pluto there. The South Node is over here, and it dips back down into your 7th house with the house of relationships. Okay, a lot of talk, a lot of focus here. It's in Leo. So you see they are opposite. This is a relationship access between you and your identity and your partner. So you need to learn to balance your independence with commitments and intimacy. You need to find that balance. And I think when I think of Aquarius people, I think of independent people. So you're going to need to be able to work with someone if you are entering into a partnership. This could be personally transforming, right? A transformative cycle. And it occurs every 18 and a half years. So this really will be a shift in your identity and relationships. Those of you that are old enough, what were you doing 18 years ago? Maybe you weren't even born yet. All right. But this is a big reset. Now, these nodes will be in these signs for 18 months. And like I said, the last time they were in these signs were 2008 and 2009. So think about what you were doing 2008, 2009. What shifts were happening in your life? Maybe you went off to college. Maybe that's when you got married. Maybe it's when you went to school or started a new job. So the North Node in the first house wants you to be authentic. Who are you aside from other people's expectations? And do you honor your uniqueness? What do you really want? And who do you want to become? Aquarius, are you living someone else's life or your own? All right. This is the balance between your independence and your partnership. You may also experience changes to your appearance, your confidence, or your goals. The seventh house wants you to examine your relationships, but don't seek validation through a partner. And don't prioritize your partner's needs over yours. Leo here is going to bring generous, loyal, and warm people to you. Those are the people that you will be attracted to, and those are the people that you will bring. It sounds like good people to me. Now you've got Jupiter here. That's jolly, like a Santa Claus. You'll probably be bringing some like joyful, jolly people to you, right? Who doesn't want that? But you're going to need to balance Aquarius and Leo. So you might see new beginnings to redefine your identity, having stronger confidence or a greater involvement in groups that you're associated with. On the 23rd is the next transit. This is in the 8th house. The sun enters Virgo. This is going to highlight, again, your shared resources. The sun's going to highlight this area. So all of this is really coming full circle when we talk about August. I feel like this is a lifetime that can all unfold, right? Because we're talking about getting out there, meeting someone, moving to the next stage, and now we're talking about shared resources. And then on the 25th, Mercury enters. There he is. Mercury is right there with the sun in Virgo. Now, Mercury rules the sign of Virgo. So just like I said, with Venus in Libra, he's very happy. He's going to make sure everything goes well among shared finances. He may have you look at things a little more closely. He might have you reorganize. He's going to bring you what you need to know, but he's going to be hyper focused on your shared finances. So maybe he will want you to scrutinize where the money is going or possibly create a budget. And then on the 27th, we have this conjunction of Mercury and the sun in Virgo at 5 degrees in your 8th house. So significant moments like this, sometimes I look to the Sabian symbol. And if you don't know anything about Sabian symbols, so it's a book by Diana E. Roche. And what she did is she channeled a vision for every degree in every sign in the zodiac. And this is so interesting for you, Aquarius, because the symbol for 5 degrees Virgo is a man dreaming of fairies. And the key word here is outlook. The theme is magic of vision. If you dream it, it will come, right? I can't think of anything more Aquarius than that. Mercury and the sun want you to dream big here. So be inspired, feel inspired. Your greatest advantage, Aquarius, is your imagination. Hopefully you've always known that. That's what I know when I think of Aquarius people. Your greatest advantage is your imagination. That's happening on the 27th of August. Very closely tied into a full moon and a T-square with Uranus. All right. So we've got this full moon happening here. The moon is in Pisces in your 2nd house. These are your personal finances, your own self-worth, right across from where the sun is, talking all about shared resources. Then we have this T-square here of Uranus in the 5th house. So this is connecting your houses 8, 3, and 5. So with the Uranus square, you could have a breakthrough in the 8th house, a moment of clarity. Something you'll be able to see something with logic, right? This is very interesting to me because it's almost like, so that the fifth house has to do with good fortune, self-expression, children, love affairs, recreation, hobby, and sports. So you are getting some disruption. And I say disruption, it's going to be disruption or friction because it is a square. It's a T square. So it's not going to be a nice flowing energy. It's going to be like a sudden clap of thunder where a sudden realization will come. Because it's connecting to your house of finances, I'm going to ask you to be aware, pay close attention to your finances. Maybe it will be an expense tied to your children. All right. But just be aware. And that's why I tell you, I go through this so that you can be aware and then you're not shocked. You can be prepared. Maybe nothing will happen. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. But I tell you about how you can work with this energy. So your environment, your audience, your thoughts, your third house stuff is going to reach a boiling point. The answer is going to come from the eighth house. You know what I just noticed? That's not the third house, that's the second house. Your second house is your finances. All right, your own self-worth. So it's going to be your own money, your own possessions. There's some kind of merge that's happening here. But like I said, you got Uranus in the fifth house, and Uranus is one of your rulers. So I think this is going to be a very strong transit. Use your downloads, your information. Mercury is going to really help you get through this. You're going to be able to clean up debts, contracts, boundaries, close up short-term commitments, finish writing assignments, step away from things, but be open to new ideas. All right, that fifth house is the house of joy. So I'm just thinking maybe some expenses that are tied to that house. Hopefully it's fun. Hopefully it's something that you've wanted. All right, but Aquarius, thank you so much for tuning in today, listening. I hope you will subscribe if you haven't already so that you can always get up to date when I put new videos out. I always try to let people know what's coming and help you work with the energy of what's coming. If you know and love an Aquarius, feel free to share this video. And hopefully I see you next time. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.